If you've been checking your bank account lately and wondering whether that Social Security deposit looks a little higher, you're not imagining it. Something historic just happened. The Social Security Administration has officially confirmed one of the largest benefit boosts in decades, and for millions of retirees across America, that means real money, up to $556 more every single month starting now. But before you start celebrating, there's a lot more to this story than just a bigger number, because while yes, this increase is a welcome relief for millions of retirees struggling with rising grocery bills, housing costs, and medical expenses, it's also a signal that inflation is still hitting harder than anyone expected. And that means this raise, while historic, comes with ripple effects that could change the way your benefits, taxes, and even Medicare premiums play out this year. Let's put this in perspective. For the average retiree, that extra $556 could cover a month of groceries, a utility bill, or several prescriptions. But it also pushes some recipients into higher income ranges, which might mean more of your benefits get taxed. So even though the Social Security check itself is growing, what you actually keep after taxes could look different. This isn't just another COLA adjustment. It's one of the biggest cost of living increases in recent memory, driven by the same inflation that's raising prices everywhere from the gas pump to the doctor's office. The government's latest data shows that the Consumer Price Index, the same measure used to calculate your Social Security raise, continues to climb, proving that daily life is still expensive for those living on fixed incomes. But here's where things get real. If you're on Social Security now or planning to claim soon, you need to understand exactly how this increase affects you personally. Because depending on your income, your state, and how you file your taxes, this raise could mean a lot more or a lot less than you think. And with inflation still high and Medicare costs shifting, the only way to stay ahead is to understand what this increase truly means for your bottom line. So stay with me, because over the next few minutes, we are breaking down the full story: who qualifies, how much you'll actually see, and what smart retirees are doing right now to make sure this extra $556 works for them, not against them. Now let's dig into exactly what this new Social Security increase means. Because while that extra $556 sounds like a big win, and it is, it's also part of a much bigger picture that every retiree needs to understand. This isn't just a random raise. It's part of the annual cost of living adjustment, or COLA. And the reason it's so large this time around tells a bigger story about our economy, inflation, and how retirement dollars are holding up in today's world. Here's the truth. This increase didn't come out of nowhere. The Social Security Administration bases its annual adjustment on the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, the CPIW. In plain English, that's a government measure of how much everyday goods and services are going up in price. When the cost of living climbs, Social Security benefits are supposed to climb with it to help retirees keep up. But as most seniors know, those increases never quite seem to stretch far enough, especially when prices for essentials like food, medicine, and housing rise faster than the average inflation number. So when you see that $556 bump, it's really the government's way of saying, we recognize that your expenses are going up, and this is our attempt to help you keep up. But here's where things get complicated. Even though the increase looks great on paper, it's also tied to the same inflation that's making everything more expensive. It's like getting a raise and then realizing your grocery bill just went up by the same amount. Many seniors are already feeling that pinch. Yes, there's more money coming in, but somehow it's getting spent faster than ever. And this year, inflation has been particularly stubborn. Energy prices, healthcare costs, and housing expenses have all played a big role in driving it higher. The average retiree is seeing that impact every time they fill a prescription or shop for basic groceries. So while this COLA adjustment may be one of the biggest in decades, it's also a reflection of how tough it's become to live comfortably on a fixed income. The government uses the CPIW to calculate these raises, but as many experts point out, that index is based on spending patterns of workers, not retirees. Seniors tend to spend a larger share of their money on healthcare and prescription drugs, which often rise faster than general inflation. That means even a big adjustment like this can still leave retirees behind. Now, let's talk about who exactly benefits from this increase and how it shows up in your check. For most people receiving Social Security retirement, disability, or survivor benefits, The increase automatically took effect at the start of the year. That means your January payment, or the first deposit of the new year, already reflects the higher amount. If you're receiving Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, your first higher payment might have arrived a bit earlier. The Social Security Administration usually coordinates those adjustments automatically, so you don't have to do anything special to receive it. But here's the important part. The extra $556 figure is an average. Some will see more, others less, depending on your benefit amount. The average Social Security payment before this increase was around $1,800 a month. A raise of roughly 3% to 4% translates to that extra $500 or so, depending on your personal earnings record. For higher earners with larger benefits, the increase could be more. For others, it might be smaller. But across the board, it's one of the largest COLAs in recent memory. Now, here's something that doesn't get talked about enough: how this increase can affect your taxes. Yes, Social Security can be taxable. It depends on your total income from all sources. The IRS uses something called provisional income, which includes your adjusted gross income, tax-free interest, and half your Social Security benefits. Once that total crosses $25,000 for singles or $32,000 for couples, part of your Social Security becomes taxable. And once you move past the next threshold, $34,000 for singles or $44,000 for couples, up to 85% of your benefits could be taxed. So if this new raise pushes your total income just over those limits, you might find yourself paying taxes on a bigger chunk of your benefits. And because those income thresholds haven't been adjusted for inflation since the 1980s, more and more retirees are falling into that taxable range every year. It's frustrating. You get a well-deserved raise, and suddenly Uncle Sam wants a piece of it. That's why many seniors are talking to financial planners now about adjusting how they withdraw from retirement accounts or time their income to avoid losing too much to taxes. There's another side to this story too: Medicare. Every year, Medicare Part B premiums are recalculated, and they often go up when Social Security benefits go up. Sometimes those increases in premiums can quietly eat away at your COLA raise. For 2026, the Medicare trustees are already hinting at higher costs due to medical inflation. That means even though your benefit check is larger, your net deposit, the amount you actually see after the premium is deducted, could be smaller than expected. It's a balancing act, and it's one reason why understanding these changes is so important. Let's zoom out for a moment and talk about what this means in real life. For many retirees across America, this raise couldn't come at a better time. The past few years have been hard. Prices have climbed, savings have been stretched thin, and healthcare has only gotten more expensive. So when that deposit hits and it's a few $100s higher, it feels like a breath of fresh air, a moment of relief after years of uncertainty. It's proof that the system is still working to adjust to real-world conditions, even if it sometimes feels slow or insufficient. But it's also a reminder that we can't rely on government adjustments alone. Inflation doesn't just affect Social Security. It affects every part of retirement planning. That's why so many financial experts are urging seniors to take a second look at their budgets this year. Where can you save more? Where can you stretch that extra $556 to make it go further? Maybe it's paying off a small debt, setting aside more for unexpected medical expenses, or simply using it to catch up on things you've had to delay. At the same time, it's also worth remembering that Social Security was never designed to be the only source of retirement income. It was meant to be a foundation, a safety net. That's why understanding how this increase interacts with your other income sources is so important. Whether you have a pension, IRA, or savings account, it's smart to see how this new benefit level fits into your overall financial picture. For example, if you're close to a tax threshold, you might consider adjusting withdrawals or exploring tax-free options like Roth accounts. Some retirees are also using this moment as a chance to reevaluate when and how they claim benefits. If you're still working and haven't claimed Social Security yet, these adjustments show just how powerful waiting can be. Every year you delay up to age 70 increases your benefit by roughly 8%. So for those who haven't claimed yet, this news might be a wake-up call to run the numbers again. Maybe waiting a bit longer could lock in an even higher benefit for life. And let's not forget about future planning. The fact that we are seeing historic increases like this also highlights the ongoing challenge facing the Social Security system itself. More people are retiring, living longer, and drawing benefits for more years. The trust fund that helps pay benefits is projected to run short of full funding within the next decade if Congress doesn't act. That doesn't mean Social Security will disappear, far from it, but it does mean adjustments could be coming in the future. Understanding the system now helps you stay ahead of whatever changes might come next. Still, for now, this raise is real, it's happening, and it's making a difference in the lives of millions of Americans. It's one of the few pieces of financial news lately that actually feels positive. And if you handle it wisely, by understanding how it fits with your taxes, your Medicare, and your overall plan, it can give you a real sense of stability in uncertain times. So, what can you do right now? Start by looking at your new payment amount. Compare it to your previous deposit. Then check how much of it is being offset by Medicare deductions. From there, review your income sources. If you think this increase might push you over a tax threshold, talk to a professional about options before tax season rolls around. Sometimes small adjustments, like shifting where your withdrawals come from, can help you keep more of that new money in your pocket instead of sending it to the IRS. At the end of the day, this Social Security increase is both a relief and a reminder that financial planning doesn't stop once you retire. The landscape keeps changing, and the people who do best are the ones who stay informed and proactive. This raise is your opportunity to reassess, adjust, and make sure your finances are working for you, not against you. Because while $556 may not sound life-changing to everyone, for many seniors it represents breathing room, a little more comfort, a little less stress, and a bit of reward for a lifetime of hard work. So yes, it's a historic moment, but it's also a practical one. This is your chance to make this raise count, not just as a number on a statement, but as real value in your daily life. Use it to make things a little easier, to plan a little smarter, and to stay one step ahead of whatever comes next. Because after years of uncertainty, every dollar that helps you live with more peace of mind is worth understanding and protecting.